Hey guys, welcome back to Tiny House Customs. I'm Dan. If you're new to my channel and you like the tiny house movement, make sure you subscribe. In this video, I'm going to go over everything I did to build my tiny house trailer. I want to give a special shout out to Daniel Holt from Holt Welding and Fabrications. Without his help, this build would have never happened. All his contact information will be listed in the description below. Feel free to contact him with any of your North Carolina welding needs. My entire trailer was built with 5-inch C-channel, which was purchased from Salem Steel in North Carolina. I used 1/4 inch for the main beams and for the hitch, and I used 3/16 for the supports and outlookers. All the other trailer parts were purchased from a local trailer manufacturer. I started out with my 2 main beams, which I cut down to 19 foot 8.5. Then I cut my 2 end pieces, which measured out to be roughly 7 foot 11. Anytime a C-channel runs into another C-channel, I had to notch the piece. I used a plasma cutter and a grinder to make those cuts. Here I'm figuring the center of my front and back pieces and then figuring the axle leaf spring distance to determine where my main beams needed to be welded. We tack welded the 4 pieces together and then squared it up. And then went back and welded it solid, again checking it for square. We raised it up on jacks and made sure the frame was level. To figure out where the axles go on a trailer, it's recommended that you place the center bracket 60% back from the front of the trailer. I placed mine around 55% back because of the weight that I'll be carrying near the hitch. Once we found that location, we welded the center hanging bracket and connected the equalizer. The axles were placed on and everything was loosely bolted together to determine the location of the other hanging brackets. After all 6 brackets were welded on, I could figure out where my outlookers needed to go. The outlookers will allow me to build my trailer out to the 8'6" max. Those 4 pieces were cut with 45-degree angles and were welded on. I added 3 extra supports on the inside of the frame to prevent the main beams from twisting from the weight of the walls on outlookers, which were also notched to fit inside the main beam. When I figured my hitch out, I wanted the hitch to be 4 feet off the front of the trailer, but I didn't want the hitch to run back on a 45-degree angle, which would cut down on my turning radius. So I took the main beam width and 6 feet for my run and figured the angle pieces, which was approximately 60 degrees. I cut the rest of the pieces as well as 2 cross beams to support the hitch assembly. I cut 6 pieces of 1/2-inch sheet metal, which will be used to attach the hitch. Then I drilled 3/4 inch holes into each of those plates, which will eventually hold a 3/4 inch bolt for my removable hitch. Those plates were then welded onto the main frame. While the trailer was still upside down, we clamped all the pieces onto the trailer using the 1/2-inch sheet metal plates as a jig. All connecting pieces were ground down to allow for a stronger weld. And then everything was just welded up. I raised the hitch up roughly 3/4 of an inch to drill through my plates into the hitch assembly. I cut extra gusset supports for the hitch assembly. 2 of them were for the 60-degree piece, which ran into the parallel pieces. I cut 3 more gussets for where the hitch connected to the assembly. I used an adjustable hitch, one to prevent theft and another to make it compatible with multiple trucks. Once all this was done, we removed the axles and the hitch. We lowered the trailer to the ground and flipped it over. All the final welds were made to the trailer. Then the axles were remounted. I found 4 used tires, which I had mounted onto the rims that I had purchased. These tires will need to be eventually replaced with Class D tires once I'm finished building the tiny house and ready to move. I made sure the trailer was clean and ready for paint. I used a wire brush on an angle grinder to remove any of the rust on the steel. Then move the trailer out of the shop and set it up on jacks. I applied 1 coat of white primer. I feel so bad, I feel you far, waking up. And then 1 coat of black paint. After it was all painted, I mounted the hitch under the trailer, and for the first time, I had a tiny house trailer. Holt Welding then delivered the trailer to my backyard, and I'm now ready to start framing my tiny house. I haven't attached the trailer lights yet because I want to incorporate the lights into the house. I could have built the trailer easier with a simpler design, but I wanted it to be custom for my tiny house. I wanted clean, smooth edges so I can mount 2x6s around the entire perimeter, so when I'm all done, you won't see the trailer. There was roughly 40 man-hours that went into building this trailer, and I had about 10 hours of it on video. I didn't install leveling jacks because they can't lift the weight of the tiny house. They're actually called stabilizing jacks. Figured it would be more cost effective to buy a bottle jack and some cinder blocks. In my next tiny house video, I'll be going over how to install the floor joist in a more unconventional way. Be sure to show your support and hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.